14th meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Bunkowski. Here. Trustee Dilbert.
Here.
Trustee Guerrero. Here. Trustee Nona.
Here.
Trustee Nicole is absent. Trustee Succi.
Here.
President Meissen.
Here.
Treasurer Nolan Dilbert. Here. And Clerk Whitsitt is present.
Approval of the agenda. I have a few changes to make. We will scrub items E, I, and J.
Just completely?
Yeah, we're gonna remove those. We'll leave the rest of them lettered the way they are, just for simplicity.
Okay.
And then actually, you know what, in place of E, we'll do setting the Ways and Means Committee meeting.
Did you want to add something about this Parks and Rec senior programming memo you gave us?
Well, we have that on item H. And then there's-
Oh, you do? About that?
Although I have it in my budget amendment.
I know, it's,
So
yeah,
if
it's
you
not,
want, I'm early.
yeah. Any other changes that anybody wanted?
I have a question.
Sure.
I guess I'm curious as to why we're scrubbing those.
I and J will handle under a closed session.
Okay.
E, I think we're scrubbing because we had the developments with kind of a change in plans, I think. Or we still gotta kind of flesh out exactly what the plans are with the vacant lot.
Okay.
Discussion.
Did you want to still have that discussion?
Discussion, so we have some direction.
All right, let's leave E. We'll leave E. Sorry for the confusion. We'll put Ways and Means down to I. So E will still be vacant lot, Main and Ann Street. I will be Ways and Means, and we will not have a J. I, what was previously listed as I and J will be covered under closed session.
Okay.
And under bills, if we could correct September to October.
Oh, item A.
Oh, great.
So moved on this agenda.
Support.
It's been moved and supported that we approve the agenda as amended. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Public comments on the agenda. All right. Seeing none, approval of the minutes. We have the ZBA hearing minutes for 57070 Gratiot Avenue from October 10th, 2023.
So moved?
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Council meeting minutes for October 10th, 2023.
So moved?
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda.
I'll approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
It's been moved and supported that we accept the consent agenda as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Treasurer's report and payment of bills.
Asking for approval of October 2023 payroll in the amount of $88,819.95, and bills to be paid for October 2023 in the amount of $271,641.86, for a total amount of $360,461 $1,000,000.81.
Make a motion to approve the payroll and bills to be paid for October in the amount of $360,461.81.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Pankowski?
Yes.
Trustee Suchi?
Yes.
Trustee Nona?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero? Yes. Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
And President Wyson?
Yes.
And treasurer's reporting, total village cash assets of $8,549,938.46.
Move to receive and file the treasurer's report as presented.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Communication and committee reports. Clerk, what's that?
December items for the December 12th meeting will be due by December 2nd, please.
Next up, Planning Commission, Trustee Dilbert.
The planning commission met last Tuesday, and we only had a couple things on the agenda. Hampton Manor, the assisted living proposal, they had filed to do a lot split. And because they filed to do a lot split, we couldn't do final approval on their site plan. So they're coming back next month. We have to address the lot split first, and then readdress the site plan approval, which on paper, it looks like they're pretty much meeting everything as far as the site plan, but because they want to split off a portion of their property, so we have to kind of take a step back. And it was a short meeting. We met, we did roll call, and
Set the public hearing.
All right. Parks and Rec report, Trustee Guerrero.
Yes, the senior program is taking off to a good start. This Thursday is a senior brunch from 12 to 2, and then Friday's a community dinner from 6 to 8. The Parade of Lights on the 25th of November, Saturday. Great turnout for the Scarecrow event contest. First place winner was New Haven Coney, and then second place was New Haven Fire Department. So kudos to all of them for participating. And then we're just looking for more activities for seniors, like wreath making, more bingo, more activities we can think of for them.
Awesome. All right. Unfinished business, splash pad. So this one, I wanted to circle back. I wanted to bring it back to council. It kind of fell off to the wayside with everything else that we had going on this year so far. But now that we're kind of getting into the fall months and things are going to hopefully slow down, I just wanted to know what the pleasure of council was. We have some quotes that Surmed put together, Surmed and Marcus put together based off of what the plumbing would be, what the electrical would be, and the equipment that we would need. We could go just based off of the quotes that they have, that we can have them put together and put into an actual presentation for everybody next month. Or we could put it out for RFP to have like one company that takes care of the management of everything outside of the quote that we already approved. Just wanted to get a touch of like what the pleasure is of council.
so right now we have what, like individual?
Yeah, right now we have just individual quotes from different companies, kind of just all hodgepodge of somebody doing this, somebody doing that. Or we could do it as an RFP, kind of have it be a little bit more of a turnkey type. We have the quote for the splash pad, which is the concrete, the fixtures, and the plumbing within that concrete. But anything outside of that is what we don't have presently. We have the individual quotes for, or if we do like a RFP, we could have somebody that comes in where they take care of all of that and work with the company and give us just a turnkey product.
I think that's probably a better route to go, because you get, 3 or 4 different companies, and, while they all have their responsibilities, they could be stepping on each other as they're doing their work and possibly damaging my work that I've already completed.
I agree with that, and I think I'd also like, I'd like to see the complete package and everything that's included.
Right,
Because we need a fence, there's gonna be some landscaping,
right.
some benches maybe, the final site plan, it was kind of just a crude drawing initially. I think we need to see that whole package.
Yeah, I think with the RFP, that's where we would actually get something like that, you know,
Okay.
have a final, what is the turnkey product?
They should have done that way from the beginning, but
Right,
it
right.
didn't seem to be what everyone wanted to do at the time, which is fine.
Right. Yep, so now that we're realizing that, you know, and it's, now that we have, you know, we know that we're gonna have from now until spring, so like, you know, let's take a step back, let's do it right. So, if everybody's in favor of the RFP, do we need a motion for RFP?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we need a motion to move forward with an RFP for the splash pad.
So move.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any further discussion on the motion? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Move forward with the RFP then. We'll get working on that. Under new business, setting ZBA hearing, setback variance request for 31353 Lincoln Street. So we do have, in the packet, there was the application that was submitted for setbacks for this parcel. I don't think we really have to go too much into detail about the actual application, but we should be setting up an actual hearing date. Normally, we've been going with just doing it before the council meeting, so if it's the pleasure of everybody, we'll continue doing that with making it for December 10th. December 12th, I'm sorry.
At 6:30. Sounds like a plan.
All right. Motion in order to set the ZBA hearing for December 12th at 6:30 PM.
I'll move to
Sorry.
set the ZBA hearing for December 12th at 6:30 p.m. Support.
It's been moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Motion carries. Next, on that same topic, is the ZBA ordinance. Mr. Addis, would you?
I'm ready to. There are two ordinances that apply, 515, 187, and 188. I emailed things out. If people didn't get them, I have hard copies. Okay, everybody's got it, I thought. All right, and basically, if you take a look at them, they're pretty short. We have just returned the ZBA to an appointment by the council, rather than have you folks serve as the ZBA. It's the way it used to be. It's the way it was first designed in the state of Michigan for villages. Then eventually the state allowed boards to sit because people wouldn't volunteer. They couldn't get people. So we just return it, and so I returned to the original. Now when we changed and went to allowing this board to serve, there were some, I didn't write it, the past president wrote to change, and there were some mistakes. So rather than write a new one, I decided to amend the old one and bring back the old language to the extent that it applied. So that's really 187 and 188 cover both. But it will take two separate motions.
And then I also, in the memo that I also, you also have a hard copy of for the ZBA ordinance. One other thing that I also mentioned was that should we decide, assuming that we want to bring back a separate ZBA, what I would like to do, or what I would propose, is that we actually set a meeting cadence for the ZBA. We could say the fourth Tuesday of the month, for example. We know that one is normally open. And at least that way it would give whoever is actually signing up for ZBA, it's not a, hey, you're gonna get randomly tapped on the shoulder for a meeting. It's, you're signing up for this day of the month. And if we don't have anything, then we'll cancel it. But if we do, then that's the day of the month to plan for. And having it on the fourth Tuesday, that gives us enough time that if there's a decision made at planning and somebody wants to then take it to the ZBA, they would have until the end of that week that they could submit the ZBA application, and we would be within the 15 days to do the notice for the local publication and reach out to the neighboring residents if needed. So I think the fourth Tuesday, it kind of seems like it just fit.
So that would be a third.
Yeah.
Okay, just so we.
So, and, as normal, so we have, with our ordinances, we said that we would do, the 30-day ordinance review before passing the ordinance. So this is just the first read. If everybody is okay with it, we will post it up on our website. We'll post it up here at the Village Hall for the public to read. And then it would be something that we would then consider at the December meeting, which means then, in theory, we wouldn't actually be establishing the ZBA until January. Any questions? Okay. All right. Next on the agenda is DPW Supervisor Dilbert for DPW employee.
Good evening. I'm coming to you today to ask if we can go out to hire another employee. This employee will be replacing an employee that is no longer with us. Has been gone for almost 2 years now. And we're taking on more responsibilities. It's kind of getting hard with coverage. We have 4 guys, including myself. If somebody takes off, we're better. So we need to find coverage and also be able to, do these responsibilities and not fall behind tasks.
I assume you put together some requirements.
Yes, there is a requirement. Should be in the packet.
Yeah, that should
Minimum
be.
qualification, additional
Yes.
qualification.
In the packet was the description and qualifications and all that. And then the additional handout that was at the table was the DPW hours analysis. Should be before that.
Find it, Chris?
Yeah, just before the budget.
Any questions for Superintendent? Yeah, as Marcus said, they've been down a guy for a number of years. One of the things that, the DPW does is they make sure that when they're going out and they're responding to residents and everything, they always try to pair off so that they're not going into a resident's home by themselves, just to avoid the he said, she said type of situation. So it's always good for them to be paired up. And right now, with them only having the 4 guys, then that means that, if Marcus needs to do something, then that leaves their other DPW worker on his own. So the additional guy will allow Marcus to be able to kind of separate himself from the rest of the guys if he needs to, take. There's been a lot of infrastructure related meetings that have been going on in the county between Mrs. Miller's office and GLWA. And Marcus has been having a hard time being able to attend those meetings because of the lack of coverage that they have in the DPW. So the additional employee would allow him to be able to get away and go to and attend those meetings.
And just for the record, can you go over the wage for us?
There's two wages on here. 1832, you see at the bottom of the table. And then there's also 20. We're trying to figure out what wage, because nowadays you have to pay for somebody to even put in for a job. I'm thinking 20 minimum, because that's just what it is right now, you know. And Sandy put together some of the spreadsheet and just kind of went over everything, the total cost, and at 1832 with hours worked, yearly salary, pension, et cetera, it's at 65, or here we go. And any possible overtime, 68, 355 total. That's with benefits and everything. And the $20 an hour comes in at 72, 651.91.
And then on the qualifications, it says that they would be compensated for license and stuff.
Yes.
Do we have a scale for that?
Yes, it's 25
Okay.
cents per license.
The 1832 represents the minimum.
I'm sorry?
The 1832 represents the minimum on the Teamsters union wage scale for that position. So we have to negotiate with the Teamsters if we can bring it up to $20.
I agree with President Rice, it's a growing community also, man.
Yes, it
All
is.
this construction and everything, and then, you know, it's hard for you to pull away. So I think it's a good.
We're in meetings like today, and phone goes off, and I just gotta walk out, keep
Oh.
walking out, and
So
we gotta go through things.
definitely feel like that.
So do you
Just
think,
FYI, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, we probably had, I don't know, 8.
Yeah, I had 8 before.
And we were probably half the size that we're currently are.
8 to 9 guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're actually down to 2, but I'm asking for one. We
Is
need
there,
2, but.
is there a reason we cut back in the, didn't backfill?
No, I think 89 was an overkill.
Yeah.
And I think it started to balance itself out, particularly when he took over. And, you know, so we were at that 5 with him, and then we lost one employee about 4 years ago,
Yeah, was it before or after COVID? Right around.
because I was still in
Yeah,
office. So
yeah,
it was, well, he was out on medical for at
Yes,
least a
yeah,
year.
that's when it started, yeah.
is 20 enough?
Well,
I'm with it.
the one thing though too is that we have the contract. So
So we have to kind
That's true.
of go with the,
Yeah.
talk to the union and see how we're gonna.
Plus, you gotta see what your bottom employee is making right now, so you
We know, that's,
clearly can't bring in somebody above.
Right.
that's a whole discussion that we have to have also. Yeah, we're well aware of that.
So this isn't something that's gonna happen overnight then?
I want,
He's gonna,
As
yeah.
much as we'd like it to.
yeah, I want to at least put it out there at $20 an hour. We'll negotiate with, President Nice, and negotiate with the Teamsters for the bottom guy to come up. Because we need people,
Yeah.
you know, we got more streets to just win in and things like that, so we have things to do.
So the intent is to maybe have them on board before the weather breaks?
As soon as possible, but this could be a spring thing, it all depends on who puts in. That's, I'm just trying to get ahead of the curve, because it might be a spring thing, or we might have to come back and say, well, 20 didn't work, you know? So this is like one of those situations.
Yeah, so I think the ask then would be to have an additional full-time employee at the rate of $18.32 to $20, depending on what union negotiation comes into play.
Yes.
And if 20 doesn't work, then we'll be back.
Yes, indeed.
Motion order?
I'll move to approve the request for DPW additional employee between the range of $18.32 and $20 an hour.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any further discussion on the motion?
I think we should just put it at 20.
I think so too. I think
Yeah.
we have to be over 20.
I will amend my movement to $20 an hour for the employee.
Still support.
Still moved and still supported. Any further discussion on the motion? roll call, please.
Trustee Sessi?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero? Yes. Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
Trustee Pankowski?
Yes.
Trustee Nona?
Yes.
And President Mason.
Yes. All right. DPW Superintendent Dilbert, water tower maintenance.
All right, every 4 years or so, we do a tank inspection, and we've been dealing with Dixon Engineering for 20-plus years. I called them up. Our last tank inspection was in 2019, so we're getting to that point. I'm trying to get approval so we can get it set up for the spring. So what they do is they come in, they'll turn off the tank, drain it, they'll go in and check for, bad welds, rusting. They'll send a remote, after we fill it up, they'll send in a remote control, videotape everything, check the cathodic protection and everything in the tank. In order to move forward with this, the price for the inspection is $5,550.
Yeah, and it's an estimated amount based off of the amount
Yes.
that they have to do.
Yes, and if they find, bad welds or things of that sort, then, they have to provide items in the paperwork. This is something that we do every 4 years, bottom line. We've done it. They've been good to us. We sprung a leak years back, and they were Johnny on the spot, so they're really good.
Our inspection 4 years ago, or they were done 4 years ago, we did a total rehab of the
Yes,
tower. We spent, about 100 grand?
yes. Yes, we did total rehab, yeah, because we had to repaint it, put a new altitude valve in. They redid the hatch up top, the bleed off, the overflow. They did numerous welds. Trying to think what else.
And I bring it up simply for the fact is, hopefully that the work they did 4 years ago
Yes.
was good work.
Yeah.
And I guess the inspection now will tell us whether it was
Yes,
good work.
yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, definitely something that, this is our drinking water infrastructure. It's definitely something we want to make sure is well maintained and kept up on. For approval tonight, if the pleasure of council, I know the estimated amount is $5,550. Do we want to have some buffer in there that you would be asking for, or what happens if they come back and they have additional work? What would be the plan?
We could ask for a buffer, or I can just email the council and say, they found this, if that's okay, like an emergency situation type deal.
This is just for an inspection. This isn't even for any work, right?
Yeah, but if they find things, then they have an hourly rate, yeah, they have welding rates and stuff.
So are we approving then
The inspection, because we don't know what they might find.
Right, so the inspection is a flat
Yes.
5,500,
There you go.
the inspection is 5,550.
Yes, sir.
We're not approving any work to be done.
Oh, so
When
they're not,
when they come back and they tell us what the results of that inspection are, then we would have to have another discussion about approving.
I
Well,
would
I
imagine
thought in
they'll
here,
typically, once
they'll do
it's
it
empty,
when
they
it's
want to do
raining.
it right now.
Yeah, they'll work right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, they're not gonna
They're not gonna
seal it back up and then come back and ask for more money.
That's the point. They're not gonna refill it and then drain
Yes,
it.
we have to refill it, chlorinate it for 24 hours, take 2 samples now, I have to take 2 samples, get them tested for back keys.
and the unknown is how much like sludge and silt and stuff that they gotta clean out. I saw that's what some of the additional cost was. Yeah.
And then if there's any repairs to be made inside there, unfortunately.
Do you wanna say 55 up to 10,000?
And I'll just check in with you every, if there's any.
That gives us a little buffer so that if they find something that's not super major, they can go and take care of it.
Yeah, right.
Session.
Yeah.
We said there was a bunch of work that was done on this 4 years ago after the last inspection, and it was done by this company.
Yes, it was Dixon Engineering, they're like the tank people. And they came in, we drained it, there was numerous wells that were, you know, so they went through everything, like normal inspection, and then did the work, yes. And then this is by Dixon. Dixon is like the people who run it, the engineers who run the
Project
Yes,
management.
yes, sir. There you go.
Was there a warranty at all on the work that was done 4 years ago? No.
There's.
The reason I ask is because I have concerns about the same company that would potentially be holding a warranty over the work, inspecting the work that they did 4 years ago. That's why I'm asking. You know what I mean?
Yep, 100%. They get video footage, photos, everything.
Okay.
Yeah, it's certain.
And we support them, they've always done,
Yes.
every 4 years it's done.
Yes.
It's been the same
Yes,
company.
ma'am.
Okay.
I won't beat you up on a single bit this
I was
time.
waiting for that.
Well,
It's a very specialized
Not a
category.
lot of companies.
Not a lot of tank people in
No.
there.
yeah, Pittsburgh tank, Pittsburgh, and then it's probably,
They're probably one of the better ones known in the world.
they do pretty much.
And the 100,000 wasn't just repairs, it was painted.
Everything.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
like-
total rehab.
Total, the whole thing.
We even
Yeah.
had,
I think that for about a week.
yes,
That
yes,
was the longest week.
Yeah.
yes, we had new skaters, yeah,
It
we're.
was out of service
Not
for a
you
week.
out of service.
There's a lot of complaints about low water pressure.
Pressure was-
Yeah, we had to run off the localized pressure.
They definitely realize how much that water tank house.
How important it
It
is.
stabilizes a lot.
Yeah,
That's why every community is building one now.
yeah.
So I will make a motion to engage with this contract with Dixon for $5,550, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
For the cleaning, draining, cleaning, assessing, and then up to 10,000 for any repairs that may come up.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion on the motion? I guess if you could, I know you already said you would, but just, you know, if any repairs.
Oh,
come
yes,
up,
I'll just shoot out
yeah,
email.
just shoot us.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, yeah, if you could report back.
Yeah, just so
that
you
would be
know
helpful.
anyways, if they found a bad
Yeah,
well in the third run,
yeah.
just let you know.
Any other motion on this, or discussion on the motion?
I have a question, I guess, if it comes in over $10,000, what's the process there?
We have to call a special meeting.
Yeah, we'll have to do an emergency meeting.
What is the threshold that you're allowed to make a call on again?
4,000, yeah.
Would that be in play if it's within a $4,000 range above what council approved?
I would say so.
I wouldn't object to it.
And to take it one step further, there's a part of our ordinance for emergencies.
Okay.
And, you know, when I consider health and safety emergencies, that the president can authorize.
Okay. I'm just mentioning that to kind of throw it on your radar. That's something that you can sort of enact in the event that it comes in at $11,000 and we approve 10 or something.
Right. Yeah, if you guys are comfortable with that, I mean, that's what we could enact, is that we'll go with the emergency, you know, procedure, and, I mean, we'll definitely communicate it out, but. Okay. All right, roll call, please.
Trustee Bankowski?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero? Yes. Trustee Dover?
Yes.
Trustee Nono?
Yes.
Trustee Suchi?
Yes.
And President Bison?
Yes.
Also, if any of you wanna, take the trek up to the top of the tower and look away, they do.
Don't.
I was thinking about it, but.
Don't. Don't.
I saw pictures and I was like,
Don't.
thank you. Yeah, I wanna do it. They're out of the picture. Just gotta sign away.
We'll send them up with the GoPro.
There you go.
All right.
Send a drone.
Item number E, vacant lot, Main and Ann Street. Ms. Kazel.
Yeah.
Trustee Gilbert and I went and discussed with the landowner that owns that lot next to the restaurant uptown at Main and Ann. He had at one time said that he would donate that to us. We've had a couple more instances happening, and we would like to discuss that with you. He said he would donate, there's 2 parcels there that he has there. He said that he would donate them if the restaurant next to him would help with the reconstruction and putting that as a parking lot. That's one thing that they want us to do. Another thing that's coming up is the owner had talked to the owner of the restaurant had talked to the owner of the property and had said that she was interested in buying the 2 lots that are there. So we have 2 instances that we have that we can do with that lot, but we would not have any control over that lot. And she would take care of making that lot a parking lot, those lots, 2 lots of parking lots. So we're up here trying to say, okay, what does the council do? Do they want to get it donated and we develop them into those 2 lots into parking lots? Or we step to the wayside and let the owner of the restaurant buy it from the lot owner and let them develop the parking lots?
These are the lots next to Main Street, right?
Correct.
My only question is, so he would donate it if we worked with the grill
Yeah.
to develop the parking lot? I don't know.
So that would guarantee that the parking would be considered public parking.
Right.
Whereas if the
We would have a
property,
public park as a public parking.
I think I get what you're trying, Trustee Binkowski, you're saying, why would we have to work with the grill, with the restaurant to do that, right?
Right.
well, I think the property owner is just wanting the grill to chip in because they recognize that the grill is,
Just next
It's
door.
gonna be the biggest beneficiary,
yeah.
Yes.
benefactor from that lot movement.
So the 2 options, you know, if you go with option 1, where we're on the hook with sharing the cost of the renovation, and in theory, it guarantees that it's public parking. Whereas option B, it's, you know, it would be it'd be their, you know, parking lot.
So
In
if I,
theory, it'd be private parking.
okay. But if I put my hat on as the grill owner and I'm gonna be putting in dollars towards the improvement of this property, what type of ownership do I have in that piece of property?
Under which option?
Under the first option,
First option, yeah.
so I'm not sure.
They still are benefiting with the fact that it gets paved and that it's, you know, parking that their, you know, patrons would be able to utilize.
What's your opinion about that?
Not sure I get it.
We don't either, but-
When we had this conversation with the owner, he had agreed to donate the property. Well, he had actually agreed back in 2018, 19, because we got some drawings out there of what the parking would look like. We had 3 or 4 conceptual drawings. So we had this conversation a couple of weeks ago, and we were willing to move forward and bring it to council that, you know, that we would accept this donation. And in return, that he would just get a write-off of the fair market value. Since then, it has come to our attention that there's been some discussion between the owner of the restaurant and the owner of the property. So we're just trying to sort out which way to go here.
Yeah, if council wants us to pursue us, you know, trying to get it gifted to us and that we work to get it, you know.
Do you have an estimate on cost to turn it into a parking lot?
Well, we got a quote back in the day, it was for $60,000.
It was
That was not with
$6,000 back
engineering.
in
And that was
2019.
Yeah, it was
So it's
60 grand, and then no engineering, anything else, so you know it's gonna be at least over 100.
Yeah. I just have reservations about, I support us taking over and making a municipal parking lot for the public to use, but I have reservations about a neighboring business financially participating. I'm just not sure about all
Well,
that.
It still would be benefiting them because in option B, if they're having to purchase the property, they're gonna be purchasing the property for the fair market value and then they're gonna be on the hook for renovating it by themselves, right?
What, yeah,
So,
And maintaining it. Still
Because
gonna
they're
make
the,
it-
and paying taxes on it, because they're the owner of
Yes.
that.
right. that's
Yeah.
true.
And the one negative that I foresee is that if the owner of the restaurant owns that lot, he could put up a sign for patrons only.
And I don't disagree with that, I guess, do we no longer want to consider just developing it ourselves?
No, that's why we're having this conversation.
that's why we're, yeah.
Okay.
because- So basically, if it's the pleasure of council, we can continue on with the plan that we all had originally agreed to, or if council doesn't want us to spend the money, we could back out and let them just, you know,
Okay, so there's
And
3
then-
options.
2 options. It's either we work together to develop it as a municipal parking lot.
Just
where it's
the
our cost.
village, not with the girl.
Well, no, I believe that the stipulation of the
You
get.
could talk to the owner, ask him, you know, what he thinks about that too.
Sure.
He said that he would back us in whatever decision that we come down.
I just see some ownership confliction
Right.
happening in the future.
Oh, we will make sure that there is no confliction.
Yeah.
Legally.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
if another.
Well, here, I gotta ask a few questions to give you a straight answer. Who owns the lot now?
Foster Oil.
Okay, and the grill, they have nothing to do with it.
No.
So Foster Oil wants to gift it to us,
Yes.
and we can take it, right? Okay, so what deal wants to be cut with the grill?
The owner of the lot had just suggested in our conversation, he said, man, it would be really nice if the grill owner, if he's gonna benefit from it, if he would
Well,
contribute.
he will
to-
benefit for a free lot, no
If he would
question.
contribute to the
Cost.
development of the lot. He didn't say that he had to contribute.
That was gonna be my question.
No, he said, would you guys have that conversation and see if he would contribute to the development of the lot?
As long as there's no, like, stipulation that require, because you can't, I can't think that you would reasonably be able to give somebody something under the stipulation that an unaffiliated third party is willing to go under contract with.
Yeah, the grill owner can say.
Legally, I'm sure you could, but
Donation.
what are the chances of that being
Contingent gift.
successful? I'm always gonna be strongly in favor of village taking.
It's always a good idea
And
to
having
accept
control over the property.
And he would provide us because when they tore down the gas station, they had to take out the tanks and do all the soil stuff. And he would give us all the documentation to show that that was all done and
About board.
there's no contamination.
That itself has a value.
Oh, that has a value.
That has a huge value.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So, he would give us all the legal documents showing that everything was done properly. And the only thing that we would have to do on our side, would be for the village attorney to
Right up the ladder.
have a conversation with his attorney and put together the legal paperwork to accept this deal.
Well, it can be done.
So,
And if you guys want to assure the Foster Oil Company that you're willing to talk to the restaurant, there's nothing wrong with that. But it can't be contingent,
Right.
because you can't accept a contingent gift as a public body.
In our conversation, that's the understanding that we had, that it's not contingent upon the grill owner participating.
Okay.
But he just said, have that conversation and he may want to kick in.
And why wouldn't we?
Yeah,
He is going to benefit, so
he's going to benefit.
Yeah, because if they were to buy the property and then have to develop it all themselves, they're gonna be in it a lot more than
Oh.
chipping in.
It's
Yeah.
an opportunity for land to be gifted to the village. And I want Main Street Grill to be wildly successful, but the reality of it is, it could be something other than a grill 5, 20, 50 years from now, and I'd rather the village
They have an
control the
opportunity
property.
to purchase it back at that time. They're not presenting it the way that it
So
actually
probably
went.
Mr. Foster's or Foster Oil's intention was to try to help us financially, you think?
I'm sorry.
Their intention was to help us financially.
No.
No.
No, by approaching the grill to chip in.
He made that statement,
Okay.
and we did with Corinne, we just kind of,
Because the grill, I know I'm not supposed to talk, but that wasn't the way it happened. And the grill approached him.
Brett, call for the floor.
Because you wasn't presented right. Because that wasn't the way it was given to him.
All right, call from the floor.
I'm comfortable with the village taking the parking lot on, but I'm not comfortable with the grill participating financially.
okay, then we won't have that conversation.
Well, are you saying that you don't even want us, so regardless of, as long as Foster Oil is willing to donate the property to us as a tax write-off for their benefit, are you comfortable with us having the conversation at all with, it's regardless of, not saying that it's contingent, just that,
The reason why I'm not comfortable with having the grill participate financially is because what typically happens when people give money to something, they feel like they have an investment in it.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
And my fear is moving forward, there may be some change of feelings or change of heart or questions. And at what point do they start to feel like, well, I paid
Yeah.
25-30% of this parking
Yeah.
lot, I'm gonna have 10 spaces for my restaurant.
Put a sign, no, like a church
Correct.
service, patrons only for Main Street Grill. You know what I'm saying? It's not for, those main, I agree.
Because we're making a decision for people that will sit in these chairs in the future.
Right.
And that's why, I don't want to tie their hands to something.
Exactly.
So, with that being said, I will make, do we want a motion for this?
Sure, you want to accept the gift.
I would like to make a motion to accept the donation of the property at Main and Ann Street. Do you want me to go on about the individual parking lot?
You don't have to go any further.
Okay, perfect.
Let's accept the gift.
I'll take the gift.
That's it.
Okay, barely. What did I do? I just went.
Been moved
So you
and
spent
sounds like it's
taxpayers'
been
money,
supported.
you spent $200,000 on taxpayers' money.
Been moved and supported. Any further discussion on the
It's gonna do
motion?
something, see.
Okay. No further discussion on the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. All right, next up we have budget amendments. Ms. Casey.
I had to do some budget amendments because of the changes in the rates and stuff like that that we did done at the Ways and Means. Most of this basically reflects that. With the building charges, I had to take away the budget from the sewer and the sewer debt charges, remove those, and then I had in addition to, in the revenue, to revenue serve 95,000, and I took away $75,000 from the rates reduced for the sewer debt charges from 3316 to 2371. So this is what reflects that. I also had a couple things that I had to, some housekeeping things I had to do. For instance, in lieu of taxes time limits, I only had 16,000 in there, we actually got 20. Interest income, I had moved $1.1 million into a CD, and we're averaging like $20,000 a month. I also am in the process of moving more money over into 30-day CDs so that the CDs rates are 4.5 to 4.8 right now. So I am increasing the interest income. I forgot to total all that, but it's a lot of money. It's over $100,000. We have seen a whole bunch of equipment repair and maintenance, so I had to up that, and operating supplies, everything's up. We had issues, I'm running the expense side, if you're not, if you're following me. I had to up the budget on the meters, we're having issues, flame change, issues. So, every time anything becomes available, we've been buying it up. Since because we have the bills with Pembroke, we got Redwood coming up, we got a couple more, and Amherst are coming up. We're expecting at least to put in 100 meters this thing, and we had like 200 meters that we could get a hold of, and they said that everything was back ordered to like August 31st. So we've got our hands on 100 meters right now, so we should be okay for the year. If not, we'll revisit this and make sure that we have enough in the budget and enough on hand to take care of the new bills. What else? I forgot to, I don't know how I missed this, but the planning salaries did not get put in the budget, so I had to get that into the budget. Telephone was up a little bit because we had to install, but that should basically go down. I did put $1,200 in for the senior program that we were talking to Jay or something like that. Jay. And I had to do some adjustment for workers' compensation because we just had an audit on that. So the net change to the budget is basically a positive $122,858.98 with these adjustments. Anybody have any questions?
And the interest income, just because I have the Excel file open so I can quickly add it all up.
Yeah.
That's all based off of the CDs that you've been doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was $209,000, $100,000.
Using that money, and then we're in the process right now, moving 2.275 over to 30-day CDs.
Yeah.
We're in works with that.
Sandy's been very proactive with the CDs, with the interest rates being up, although it, kind of puts a hurting on everybody else, but for the 30-day CDs, it's actually been very lucrative of being able to, keep putting money into it and getting all that interest out of it. And
I also did too with perpetual care stuff. I put them in an older one because they're not gonna be sitting there, and we're not gonna hit those. I had them sitting over in 5-year CDs, just because, and those amounts are not that big. I think it was like 69 or something like that, that was put over there. So, we've been, Lucy and I have been moving money around all over the place here, we try to make us all some money. Any questions?
Very financially savvy move to do that.
Couldn't try.
I pay for my salary. I know, I said it.
Especially going into a 30-day CD is, I mean, a CD technically is liquid.
Exactly.
On a 30-day, it's,
I mean, only big bill that we have right now, we have our sewer data in February, and then we got to go, but we haven't got anything from Mr. Safe back there or Manning Street yet, so those are the two big bills in this upcoming ones that we'd like to make sure that we cash them in the checking account, so.
I think our other big bill eventually is the lease payment for the fire truck. That's not for a while.
No, that's about the same thing, too. Yeah, that's going okay, so. Any questions?
If there's any other questions for Ms. Gable? Motion's in order?
Make a motion to accept the budget adjustments as presented by Ms. Gable.
support.
It's been moved and supported. Any other further discussion on the motion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Pankowski?
Yes.
Trustee Suchi?
Yes.
Trustee Noah?
Yes.
Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero? Yes. And President Bison?
Yes. And item G, 2024 MML liability insurance. Ms. Gable.
Every January, we have to have a renewal of our liability and property pool insurance. Our rate this year is going to be $45,565 from last year's cost, which was $43,934. It's only a 3.6% increase. Now, provided that is for, they take into consideration, they actually did an audit of all our outbuildings last month and stuff like that. So, with that being said, 3.6% is that much, especially when we had increases of salaries of like 15% and stuff like that. So, we will also be getting a dividend return of $3,740, which brings that down to only like $42,000 for our premium. So I'm asking for us to renew our premium for $45,565, and then we will be receiving a dividend check of $3,740. Any questions?
Everybody's quiet tonight.
That's good.
All good news.
Yeah. All right. If there's no questions for Ms. Hazel, motion's in order.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported that we renew our 2024 MML liability insurance and the amount of
$45,565.
Thank you, sir. It's been moved and supported. Any further discussion on the motion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
Trustee Pankowski?
Yes.
Trustee Suchi?
Yes.
Trustee Noah?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero? Yes. And President Bison?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we did it a little bit out of order because we did have the budget amendment for, that also already has this line item in there, but we can change it if needed. So Cedar programming, as you guys have been kind of seeing, and it's been discussed now for a couple of months, the senior program went away around the time of COVID. A lot of our Parks and Rec programming had come back, but the senior programming really hadn't until recently. So we've been, the Parks and Rec group and Brianna Kruk has been doing a really good job of hosting these every other week senior program, senior brunch and bingo. And they're just looking to see, exactly what kind of budget we're willing to set for them. and ideally have it separate from Parks and Rec's budget, just so that it's not interfering with any of the events that Parks and Rec wants to do. Just have it as a separate, small budget for the senior program. Right now, they've been doing the senior brunch and bingo, but they're looking to expand it. Trustee Guerrero mentioned about wreath making, or, we could have trips to the DIA, or, so on and so forth. So looking for approval to have a separate line item, separate budget for a senior program in the amount of $1,200 for the year, dedicated to the senior events.
I think that's a great idea.
I wasn't around when this was up and running, pretty successful, a lot of activity, or?
Yeah, they were busy. While the senior group itself was never very full, we're trying to get the seniors to participate, but the 6 or 8 that we did have, we did a lot of things with them. Well, some volunteer women did a lot of things with them. In between wreath making and bingo and luncheons and little field trips to the orchard and Frankenmuth and just taking them out to lunch or to the movies, and just, they did a lot of activities,
Yeah, and I think right now they're trying to figure out exactly what the schedule would be like. I think Wednesdays and or Thursdays seemed like those were the two preferred days.
Was there a separate budget previously, or did it come out of Parks and Rec?
How do I say this? I funded a great deal of it.
Okay. Got it.
Do you think 1,200 is enough though?
That's what
It's
my
kind of
next
low,
question
yes.
is. It's $100.
And I was also gonna ask about a stipend for the coordinator for the year.
So the coordinator is, is being, I believe, I'm not sure, but I believe the coordinator is being paid under the same Parks and Rec, for
Perfect.
chair and co-chair.
Okay.
And the 1,200 was based off of just what they were kind of going off of right now. A lot of the food and whatnot for like the brunch has been donated.
Yeah. They've done a good job of getting donations.
Yeah, they've been really hitting it around and getting donations for that. So it's really been minimal cost.
If it ended up, if the senior program ended up needing more, they could always approach council to request more money.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah, and Karina, I don't know if you know, but I want to say that the senior brunch, they had probably about 6 to a dozen people, maybe a little bit more.
Oh, yeah, it's been,
It's been,
like 7, 8 people. And I think there's been questions in the community about a younger, even like 45 and above, but I don't know, they're trying to talk about that, like what is the cap, the age cap?
yeah, because
You know.
there was talk about, maybe it's free to seniors, but for people that are under a certain age limit, or if they don't live in the village of New Haven, maybe you have like a nominal fee.
Yeah.
Because I know there was some folks that were like, oh, I like brunch and I like bingo, I'd like to
Yeah.
participate.
But it's not very many people, so I think they should just interact with the
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like a handful, maybe a couple people here and
I
there.
had stopped in, I think their first one. It had a good turnout, and they were all seniors there for the most part. I mean, they were all 65 and older, or 62 and older, and it was like they were having a good time. I mean, they had a lot of donuts and a lot of snacks.
Is that $1,200 annually if it brought in people that were not quite seniors or seniors from neighboring communities and created engagement on something like
That's what I said too. And next month I'm looking to host a wreath making for them too, so probably younger people want to get involved in that too, 45, 50.
And those are the kind of activities that actually start to cost money.
Right.
And it's not a great deal of money,
Yeah.
because there are professionals out there that will come in and teach a wreath-making class. But I mean, with the budget coming up in March, I mean, this right here will get them through that time period, and we can look at it from a annual standpoint and say, okay, well, let's dedicate $5,000 to the seniors,
Right.
or $10,000, or whatever we think, however it appears that it's going to grow and prosper.
Sure.
So
All right.
then maybe we could make a goal then in March, maybe to formalize what our senior program is gonna look like.
Yeah.
Talk about that stipend,
Yeah,
just so that
yeah,
all the ducks are in a row for the future.
The
Yeah.
chairperson of the Parks and Rec Committee is on council.
all right. So I guess, motion in order to establish the senior program at a, separate budget of $1,280 for the year.
So moved.
Support. It's been moved and double supported. Any motion, any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
It's
All
fine,
opposed?
You probably gotta do
even
that.
though it's
Yeah,
nominal,
let's do roll. I mean, technically the
Roll,
budget,
it's you paying, you
Yeah.
spending money.
technically the budget was, already approved, but yeah, let's do it, let's roll.
Trustee Suchy?
Yes.
Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
Trustee Bunkowski?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero?
Yes.
Trustee Nona?
Yes.
And President Bison.
Yes. All right, item I, setting of Ways and Means Committee meeting. We did have the negotiation that was open with our clerical staff. So we do have a tentative agreement already in place that we would like to then have Ways and Means review and then make a recommendation to council. With Mario, with Trustee Perpoli not being here, we might need to do it offline, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, why don't we do that, wait till he returns?
Okay. All right, well, so in that case, it's just a heads up.
Discussion.
All right, that said, now we have a call from the floor, limited to 3 minutes.
What I got to say, it's gonna take longer than 3 minutes. No, I won't be nice about it, but this board, you know, I won't even get into that. But just back to the parking lot, I have a problem when this board spends my tax dollars on property that you're taking away from someone that wants to develop the property, and you guys didn't even listen to the third option, was that they would purchase the property and the village had nothing to do with it. So whatever the attorney opinion that he gave you was that to basically not to, or whatever it was, to not go with the property, and Ms. Bonkowski so quick to make the motion. But the moral of the story is, I think that it would have been a lot better if the village would have sat down with the owner and the town to see what could and what they wanted to do. Because I talked with Tom, and his thing was that he would sell the property to the owners of Main Street, and that's who would actually benefit anyway. And maybe years down the line, maybe someone, they may close up or whatever, and the village may still end up with it getting it back, or what have you. But at this point in time, to spend taxpayers' money on property that we basically you're gonna put over a couple $100,000, up to maybe a couple $100,000 of taxpayers' money into that, and turn it into you saying a public parking. You know, we did the thing down on the other end. We took property off of our tax roll and did the same thing. We ended up giving it to, we didn't, but the board did, end up giving it to Haven Place. I'm just so sick of coming here and listening to this board waste our tax money.
Call from the floor.
This is Mrs. Hazel. I'm here
Okay.
We had an incident here 2 months ago, and I am concerned with our safety in the office. And I was wondering what was happening to get that resolved. I haven't heard anything about what's going on with it. We have discussed about putting cameras up and stuff like that, but nothing's happened. It's been 2 months now, and I would like to know what's going to make my office staff safe in this office. So I would like to, somebody let me know what's going on with that. Thank you.
Call from the floor? Okay. Call from the table?
I just have two things. I'm gonna go back to the splash pad real quick. Also, the water versus well conversation, if they could present that to where on that. And then when the ZBA is reestablished, can we have good communication about what happens at that meeting, that information gets presented to council? Just to make it happen. All right,
Sure.
that's all I got.
Back to the ZBA, because the ZBA findings have to come to council for formal approval.
Right, but
No.
But
I'm working hard on trying to keep everything rolling.
I would love to reestablish it to the point where the initial request for anything goes to planning. Because that's where it used to go to planning.
You have a valid point.
And then you had to be turned down by planning in order to go to ZBA. And then the ZBA findings were forwarded to council. And so we need to bring planning back into the mix, because a lot of these questions and a lot of the research, planning will do it. So that we have a full picture as to what's being done.
I agree with you 100%. Because that's always been my concern about we're making decisions at the ZBA level. Planning did all this work
Yeah.
to establish these rules, and we're just going against whatever rules they establish.
Anything else? Any other call from the table? I have a couple that I figure I'd give everybody else a chance. Okay. Just a reminder, we do have, it was announced out on Facebook, but we do have our My New Haven MI mobile app. Finally was worked through some issues that we had with the Android app. So that is functional. We're planning on doing our first notification tomorrow to remind everybody about the community dinner on Friday. And hope to start using that to then send out notifications, keep everybody in the loop on everything that's going on in the village. What was the other?
Are you advertising that anywhere else?
We have it on Facebook, and
People
we're gonna
don't
have
use that.
we're gonna have flyers and postcards and stuff like that to give out. So we do have the community dinner this Friday. We have the parade of lights that's coming up on the 25th. We have DIA mural unveiling that is going to be happening on December 1st. So that is another event that we have coming up for the over at the Lions Club.
What time?
It'll be on Friday, December 1st at 11 a.m. We'll have some light refreshments, and members of the DIA will be there and have a nice little ceremony just to properly unveil the mural. With that's all that I have from call from the table. Next up, we have closed session for attorney update on pending litigation. We will have action afterwards. So if we could have a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
So we have a motion to go into closed session for attorney update on pending litigation. It's been moved and supported. Roll call, please.
Trustee Sochi?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero? Yes. Trustee Bankowski?
Yes.
Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
Trustee Nono?
Yes.
And President Meissner.
Yes.
You are on camera, coming back from the meeting, so when we reopen,
That's when we reopen, that's when it'll start.
no, it's, the camera's on right now.
Camera's on now.
So,
That's what she was saying.
but that just shows that you went off, you guys left, you went off, you went on, you came back, nothing in between.
All right. We have motion to return from closed session and resume public meeting.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Roll call.
Trustee Suchi?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero?
Yes.
Trustee Pankowski?
Yes.
Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
Trustee Nona?
Yes.
And President Bison.
Yes.
Good.
Yep, we are back in session, so we have motion on the table.
I will move to request council to move forward with issue number 1 as discussed in closed session.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All, roll call, please.
Trustee Suchi?
Yes.
Trustee Dilbert? Oh, Trustee Nona, sorry.
Yes.
Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
Trustee Pankowski?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero?
Yes.
And President Bison.
Yes. Second motion.
I will move to request council to move further with issue 2 as discussed in closed session.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Roll call.
Trustee Suchi?
Yes.
Trustee Nona?
Yes.
Trustee Pankowski?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero? Yes. Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
And President Bison.
Yes. Third motion.
I will move to request council to move forward with issue number 3 as discussed in closed session.
Support again?
It's been moved and supported.
I'm trying to give you two a chance to get caught up.
Yeah.
It's a really easy copy and paste when you guys do this for me.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Suchi?
Yes.
Trustee Nona?
Yes.
Trustee Pankowski?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero?
Yes.
Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
And President Bison.
Yes. With that, motion on, final motion on the table.
So moved.
Support.
Motion to adjourn at 8:47 PM. Been moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.